April 8th, self-care. I don't precisely know what you need to do to take care of yourself, but I know you can figure it out. Beyond codependency. Rest when you're tired. Take a drink of cold water when you're thirsty. Call a friend when you're lonely. Ask God to help you when you feel overwhelmed. Many of us have learned how to deprive and neglect ourselves. Many of us have learned to push ourselves hard when the problem is that we're already pushed too hard. Many of us are afraid the work won't get done if we rest when we're tired. The work will get done. It will be done better than work that emerges from tiredness of soul and spirit. Nurtured, nourished people who love themselves and care for themselves are the delight of the universe. They are well-timed, efficient, and divinely led. Today, I will practice loving self-care. So I have to read this sentence again because it's awesome. Nurtured, nourished people who love themselves and care for themselves are the delight of the universe. I'm Herb the Addictaholic. This is the language of letting go. And, I was a people pleaser, and I was always trying to make everybody happy except myself. And in so doing, a lot of the times I made myself very unhappy, stressed out, and unfulfilled because I was stretched too thin. And even though I was people pleasing, a lot of times I was doing it in a selfish manner that was manipulative, trying to get something out of it. And often I didn't get what I wanted out of it. So I was even more upset. So it was like this stacked thing. It built resentment and anger and frustration and anxiety and stress. And, it's just like a snowball effect situation. So now, if I don't feel that I can do something, I prioritize. I see what's definitely necessary at the top of the list, which is my recovery typically, and my family life, and then work, and then, down the line. So as long as I do that, like a triage of sorts, I could kind of focus on, the big things. I don't know if you guys have ever heard this story. Maybe you have, but I'm going to share it anyway. There was a professor that asked these students. He gave them rocks, ground coffee or sand, depending on how you want to look at it. There's two different versions, and then a cup of coffee or a cup of water. And he says, fill these jars, and a bunch of people would pour their coffee grounds or the sand, and then they would pour the water, and then they couldn't fit the rocks. And they're like, oh, shoot, I did this backwards or whatever. And, the idea is we deal with the big things first. So put the rocks in, and then you put the sand or the coffee grounds in, and it fills in the gaps, and then you pour the liquid and it fills in even the smaller gaps. So you start with the big things and you work your way down to the little things. And typically if we organize life that way, we feel a lot less stress, a lot more stress-free. And that's the goal here, is self-care. Thank you guys for coming out. Hope to see you tomorrow. Keep coming back. Works if you work it.